This episode of Savage Sessions is brought to you and produced by Radio Salad Studios. And now your host, Chucky T.
Hello, players, and welcome to Savage Sessions. My name is Chucky T, and I'll be your host, along with E.E. Morris, Fanatical Fish, Canadian Curry, and joining us tonight, the lovely and talented Rainey. Thank you for joining us, and also, Totes my goat. I will not be the host tonight. Instead, it will be James taking us through our holiday Halloween edition. So, yeah. James, are you ready?
I am ready. Thank you, Chuck.
Then the floor is yours.
Awesome.
Chucky and Curry being best friends together forever. The fun never ends.
No, you can keep singing.
One hug at a time. Chucky and Curry, two of a kind.
Keep going. Don't stop.
It's a theme song. I love it.
That's from Kimmy Schmidt. I did not invent that, but
no, you're fine. We're gonna
you guys.
It's recording. It's recording. I have it. Now it's prosperity. I'm gonna put that on TikTok.
Jeff Richmond, Tina Fey, not mine.
That is literally the coolest thing
on TikTok. Let's go on TikTok. I got that.
Okay, so as I said, happy Halloween, everybody. Thanks for that great introduction, Chuck. I have a couple of nice messages for you guys tonight, and I'm just going to start with this one. So we are playing the Horror of Huntley House, which was part of the Horror Companion Kickstarter. It was one of the stretch goals. So I'm very happy to be running this. In honor of Halloween and in honor of running this game, I was in touch with Brian, the writer of this story, and he was kind enough to give us this message.
Hello, everyone. This is Brian Reeves, one of the developers at Pinnacle and the author of the Horror of Huntley House. I hope you enjoy the live play of this haunted little tale. Happy Halloween to Savage Sessions, Radio Salad Studios, and to all you listeners out there.
And I also got this here for you guys too. From last year, we did his story.
Hey everyone, this is Carl Kiesler from Doghouse Rules. Just want to say happy Halloween to the Radio Salad Studios Savage Sessions. I can't wait to see what y'all play next. All right, take care. Bye.
Yay! So I was very happy about that. Thank you, Carl, for that.
Can I say really quick?
Please.
I have never been a happier man.
I figured you might be.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so too. It was nice of them to do. I thought it would be a stretch to ask, but they were both very happy to be a part of it. I had Brian looking at all our characters and all the handouts that I made for this story, and he was like, "This is really cool. I can't wait to see it." So thanks for your blessing on our delicious Halloween story. And I also want to do something real quick that isn't something we normally do, because we're normally playing East Texas University or some other fun stories that do have some content warning, but we don't usually mention them. But I'm going to start with some content warning. This particular story has murder, suicide, mental health, and mistreatment of minors. However, it's not reveled in. It is part of the horror that is of Huntley House. So why don't we start with the person closest to me geographically. We'll introduce, if you don't mind going first, I'd like to introduce Rainey, who's an old friend of mine, a very young friend of mine, but still from very long time.
Old friend.
Yes.
A sister from another mister. Thank you, James. I've known James since high school, and we're not in our 30s anymore. So
We're very late 30s.
Yeah, we're extremely late on being in our 30s. But I will be tonight for the first time joining this lovely group of fresh young meat for this game, playing Rosemary Farrow, which is a very clever Marilyn Manson-esque illusion that somebody pulled there. Nicely done. Little 90s influence, because they love the 90s, the Gen Zs, they do. I will be playing a demure 26-year-old.
I'm not doing an X card, but I am Gen X. So.
I will be playing, she is a demure 26-year-old graduate student who has a deep interest in history and the supernatural and a devout Catholic faith. And in honor of that, of course, I'm wearing a legitimate Padre Pio Catholic medal because I myself was born into the Papist tradition. Much like everyone that's playing here today and all right-thinking people. So as we go through this tonight, I promise not to be anything mean or scary, and I will most likely be playing things a little bit broadly because women in the 60s were starting to realize that they were allowed to speak out loud, and that was a very exciting time for us.
Oh, yes, and the story is taking place in 1960, so that worked. And the person next closest to me geographically, you guys can decide because Michigan's far away.
Greg, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
My name is Greg, or some people have been referring to me as Fanatical Fish. And tonight I'll be playing a detective named Norm Perkins. Not much. He was a distinguished police officer, left the force due to some reason, and he got offered to come on, come and investigate this from somebody, and he's always had a curiosity to solve things. So here he is tonight.
There you are. Thank you, Mr. Perkins. I've dealt you a Benny, as well as Rosemary. You have yourself another Benny. So now, would Mr. Shrek or sorry, Dr. Shrek or Father Price would like to take it and go here?
Everett, go ahead.
Alrighty. Hi there. I'm
Hi.
Everett Morris, and I will be playing the character of Father Frederick Price. I'm an ordained priest of the Holy Roman Catholic Church. What I lack in specific experience with hauntings, my deep faith and understanding of the church's rituals make me a valuable ally in facing the unknown. I am known for my compassion, wisdom, and somewhat skeptical nature when it comes to people's motives.
So here we go. Ready?
I'm guessing.
Set?
No. Okay, yeah.
All right, here we go. Hi there. Yeah, I'm Chucky T. I'll be playing Dr. Peter Shrek, a local renowned surgeon, but more importantly, he's just the kind of guy that knows exactly what he wants to do and how he's going to get it done. And he's here because he's got himself a beautiful and amazing fiance. And this is going to be the fixer-upper that's going to save the whole damn world as far as he's concerned. So here we go. Excellent. I'm looking forward to this.
So you guys come to the house. Your first impression of Huntley House is that it was once, must have been very beautiful. The large 3-story home was built in the Victorian style with great oaks in the front yard and a wrought iron fence encircling the grounds. But time and neglect have left it weathered and faded. Most of its windows are broken. Missing shingles expose holes in the roof. And not even one bit of paint remains on its warped siding. But time and neglect have left it weathered and faded. Most of its windows are broken. Missing shingles expose holes in the roof, and not even one bit of paint remains on its warped siding. The covered porch sags, and the front door sits partially open. The interior dark and foreboding. Vines and bushes choke the yard on all sides. At least the iron fence, rusty as it may be, still remains in its integrity. The front gate creaking mournfully in the wind. A pea soup fog has settled over everything, giving the house a menacing aspect. Like a wraith looming out of the mist, you gaze up at the decrepit old ruin and wonder what awaits within. So you guys are, I'll take you guys to the front porch.
Just so I'm clear, you look at this and you think of me.
Nah, hey.
I just want to
No,
I just want to make sure I understand.
No,
I just wanna-
Rosemary, the potential here. That's the potential. Look, all the history, all that. It's for you, darling. It's for you.
me to
Look at
clean
this.
up. For me to clean up. I have so much studying to do. I don't.
You can study the house. I'll handle the cleaning. I know some people. Hey, you know what? The PI that I have with us, you heard us talking on the way up. I was asking him all sorts of questions about, hey, you know people. He knows people. We're going to get this all cleaned up. This is going to be an amazing house. Imagine the dinner parties we're going to have here. It's going to be amazing. And Father, you said so yourself. It's a good area. It's nice. What do you think, Father? Come on. Tell Rosemary the beauty of the place.
The endless potential is just, it's so wonderful here. A little breezy, but it's okay. We can just fix the windows, give it a little bit of new paint, and really it would be quite nice, I think.
You hear that? Even the priest is going to help us clean it. You can imagine that? Having him here, wielding a hammer, fixing the stuff. The hand of God is on this place. Darling, this is all for you. Come on in. Check it out. Go on. Trust me. It's all perfectly safe. There ain't nothing wrong with here. Ain't that right?
All right. I'm going to go and have a look around. So I'm going to go start making my way up the stairs and go into the house with my little... In my purse, I've got, because it's the 60s, I've got actual matches, which is more common. And this is one of those little white altar candles that you put down at church. So you get 5 for $1. So it would be normal for me to have a couple in my purse.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm absolutely fine. I also put on your character sheets, you have flashlights if you need them, because there is no power here, obviously.
I'm old fashioned.
But no, have the candles. You can have them. You can lay them around the house. I will find a way to make that appear on the screens. What about you, Mr. Perkins? What are you doing?
I'm just kind of looking around, checking the outside out.
Are you going to do a perimeter or just kind of look around before you go in? What are you thinking?
Probably where I'm at. I'm just going to take, you said we have flashlights, so I'm just going to probably take it and, kind of look to the left down the side. It looks like we're standing on a porch.
Yep, you're on the front porch of the house. If you can do me a favor, let's have the first roll of the game. Give me a notice roll as you kind of look around. So when you roll, tell us what you rolled.
I got a 5.
You got a 5. 5 is a success, and you also decided to have a look around there, Father. What did you roll?
Yes, I also got a 5,
which is also a success. So. The two of you kind of looking around, just around the front of the house, you do notice, as I mentioned, some of the floors are sagging. You can see through some of the broken windows into the house, and it does look very dusty inside. It is dark on the interior, and just around the side of the house. Now, you do notice as well the fog is rolling in thicker around where the fence is, around by where you parked. And another thing is, we'll give it to the father. Father, around the side of the house, you happen to notice an interesting, like, couple of just out of the corner of your eye, you catch what looks like a cross on the lawn.
Yes, it shows where, but it's not as old as the house. It seems, maybe 15, 20-ish years.
The house?
Oh no, the cross.
No, the cross is as old as the house. It's around back, and you just kind of catch a glimpse of it from the side of the house.
Okay,
but it looks like it could be some sort of marker of some kind. It's definitely as old as the house. The house itself. You know what? I think Rainey, could you for Rosemary? Could you give me a research roll?
Yes.
You rolled an 11.
Okay, and I get plus
which
2
is so you rolled a 13, which is a success with a raise. In fact, success with 2 raises, but in Savage World sometimes it's only 1 raise, but still very well rolled. So with that roll, tell me how you did your research. This is a flashback.
When Peter called to right?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
when Peter called me at school to let me know that he bought the house, I asked him for the address, and then I rang the local library and asked them to send me the records for the county for the land going back
Yes.
as far as they had them. And I read all of that before we came here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so worried about everything, is that there is some irregularity in that. So I have a map of the land around it and what is actually where the property line is and where the pipes are and things like that.
Okay, so in 1862, the house was built, was actually built by a shipping magnate by the name of Charles Huntley. It was apparently built for his wife, Elizabeth, and the two of them moved in. And the records themselves show that the house was transferred into the name of a Jeremiah Huntley in 1867. So only a few short years later, Jeremiah Huntley, brother of Charles, took ownership of the house. And since then, actually, the ownership of the house was actually only changed hands a couple of times and almost immediately put up for sale. So whoever purchased the house and owned the deed had for some reason put it up for sale. It's actually been for sale for like a few decades now since the last purchase. So must have been purchased for a song.
Oh, it was. Let me tell you.
Who did we purchase it from? Who actually currently owned it when we bought it? Because if it was for sale for a long time, did it revert to being owned by the city, or was it sold at an auction?
It actually was. The previous owners who bought it could not sell it. They had been trying to sell it for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
They were the Morgensterns, and
Morgensterns. Yeah,
they both passed away, but they never actually apparently they own the house, but nobody's actually lived in the house since Jeremiah.
It's creepy.
Yeah, it's strange, but again, it's a matter of record. So you walk right into the lovely foyer, which I will read the blurb about, which of course I printed very tiny. Light filters through the stained glass of the front door. Overhead hangs a heavy silver chandelier, thick with dust and cobwebs. The wood-paneled walls have faded and cracked. Paintings hang on the wall. Most are hard to make out over the years of age and weather, but you do see like the odd silhouette of a man and woman painted on these canvases. From the landing, you can see that the carved stairs lead up through the dusty air to a landing and then up to another floor. Some of the railing is broken in places from age, and more paintings hang on the wall leading to the upper floor. Most are so old and worn that they are almost completely indiscernible. I would like for you, whoever has entered the house, give me a spirit roll. And tell me what you get. Do I need to roll for you, or have you got your character sheet up?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Let me.
Ooh. Would you get Dr. Shrek? Read it out loud.
I'll be right back.
Oh, I rolled a d6 for my spirit, and I got a 10 on the wild die.
Okay. Perfect.
I got a 5.
Father Price rolled a 5. I believe that Mr. Perkins is exploring the grounds outside, perhaps. So give me a spirit roll when you enter the house.
Sure. Yep. He's gonna go in after he looked around outside a little bit.
Yep. Mr. Perkins.
I got a whopping 3.
You got a whopping 3. That is not a success in Savage Worlds. Would you like to re-roll that, or do you want to keep it and see what happens?
Oh, we'll just keep it and see what happens.
That would be fun. So, with your massive success there, Chuck, you are completely oblivious to any other anything that might be going on. It's a good thing for you. The two of you who got a success, you suddenly, as you enter the house, as you look up at the chandelier and you feel the the room itself kind of it's a beautiful space, if not for all of the dust and weather. But you do suddenly get this strong feeling of sadness and grief, and you just a brief feeling of like something, like you suddenly think of your sister, or your mentor, somebody you've lost just pops into your mind. Mr. Perkins, you involuntarily feel that, but you feel it very strongly, to the point where you kind of involuntarily sob, but just briefly, like when you're thinking about an animal who's passed, or somebody you loved, and you just kind of go like, just with that like choked, like, and then you shake it off, but it was audible and sad nonetheless.
Peter is zoned out.
Yeah,
Like
because
when you guys come in, because of the lights, the flashlights, how they're moving. He's just staring off at the wall for a hot second.
right.
Do I notice that?
I don't know what's happening to Greg. Like what's happening to the steward detective?
Yeah, he just, for a brief moment, you just see him stifle.
So yeah, like I kind of paused for a second, and might even take the flashlight, and I'm just looking around. But
yeah, it's kind of heavy in here, right? Like it's probably just the air. It's probably dust in your eye is all it is.
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Seasonal allergies.
been
If
raining
you guys don't mind, I would like to step outside and look further into that cross outside. That has me very curious. Is that all right? Would you guys be okay with that?
I think that's a very good idea. But are you sure you're feeling all right going alone, Father?
Oh, I'm fine.
Hey, not a problem. Rosemary, why don't you stay here with the detective? I'm gonna go out with the father, make sure you don't trip and fall, break a hip or something.
That makes me feel so much better. Yeah,
hey,
if you could.
Not a problem. And take in the house.
Yeah.
Enjoy, revel in it. This is gonna
Yeah.
be your palace.
Yeah,
It's gonna be yours.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Come on, Father.
All
Let's
right.
take a walk and talk.
Yes, shall we?
So as you walk from the front, you notice the front door looks out from a long front porch, sporting an old bench. Broken glass lies on the porch from broken windows. In fact, most of the windows in the house are broken. Around to the back of the house leads to an overgrown backyard littered with old junk, a near collapsed gazebo, and there are two time-worn handmade wooden crosses. And as you get closer with your flashlight, you shine a light on them, and you realize that they say Elizabeth and Mary. One is large and one is small, but there are no dates, just carved into the wood, Elizabeth and Mary.
Yeah, Father. Yeah, Peter's. I'm sorry, Doctor Peter Schreck is looking at the priest as he's eyeballing this. So this is primarily Rosemary's, or this is both our? I mean, I assume both are priests now, but is it primarily Rosemary's acquaintance?
Yeah, I would. I think that this has been like, this is the person who baptized her or christened her or whatever, communionized her, whatever. I don't know. I'm not Catholic. Communalized.
Right.
It's initiated into the
right.
I get the feeling you like kind of converted to marry me more than being like a true believer, or are you kind of just
yeah,
sure, honey,
totally.
whatever. Saints, yeah, they're great, terrific. I'm all there. Hail Mary, she's terrific. Love her wings, they're delicious. That kind of thing. Okay, yeah.
Oh, big time. So Peter hunkers down next to the priest as Father Price is checking this out, clearly engrossed in all this, and he's watching for a few seconds, and then he puts his hand on Father Price's shoulder. look, Father Price, with respect,
Sure.
this is my way of making things right all the way around. So you do whatever you got to do to make Rosemary understand that the house is great. There's nothing wrong with the house. I don't care what mumbo jumbo might have been popping around, whatever urban legends, whatever. I don't care.
What
But
are
I
your
need you to help me. I need you to help me on this.
What are
Our
your
life, our new life is starting here. I don't know. She's been talking about it a lot lately. As soon as I'm talking about the house, she started digging into it. I don't know. She ain't been sleeping well. She gets upset. I can't have my wife upset, my future wife. I can't have that. Can I count
understand
on
that.
you?
No, well, of course, Rosemary means the world to me too, but you have to understand that I have a major question in this. Why is this house so important to you?
He stares at him for a while, and he gets this kind of faraway look in his eyes, and he glances around, and he rushes off his knees. He stands up. It says, my new life is starting with Rosemary, and that's all that's important to me. That should be all that's important to you and to her. You making her comfortable here. So can I
Chuck?
count on you, Father?
I
I'm gonna
understand, and I understand that he's evading my question, so I just put a hand on his shoulder. You have my word.
He brushes his hand off and nods, claps him on the shoulder. Great. You done looking at the decorations here?
Sure.
Excellent. Let's go into the house. I don't want to leave my wife with that guy for too long.
So, Chuck, before I jump back to what's happening in the house, I want to ask you a question. What was running through Peter's head for that brief second? What crossed your mind?
The rainy night with his ex-wife and looking at her and saying goodbye.
Yeah, as the lights got bright,
very bright.
Yeah, and then that's
the screams.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There wasn't really much of a scream though.
Oh, there was not much of hers though.
No.
Okay.
And meanwhile, in the house, what are you guys up to? What are you guys doing? Just gonna hang out in the lobby here, or are you guys gonna move through?
As for my dark past, I have to admit, I used to steal erasers from it in the room with the chalkboard. I've been so embarrassed about this all my life, but I feel like I can tell you, as like a private investigator, you've seen the worst of the worst. Real hardened criminals like me. You won't judge me, right? Right? I mean,
Darling, that's all you stolen is chalkboard erasers. Yeah, that's minor.
Minor.
It's only a venal sin according to the church, but I just feel like I'm the type of person who would steal. And anyways, thanks. It's good to know that there's a chance that one day I could be forgiven.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I pull out my flask, take a swig. You want some?
I do actually, yeah, if that's all right. One thing about Catholics, we're pretty good at this part. I kind of built the whole religion around wine, so it's not a big
It is literally a skill, not a hindrance.
Yeah, it's a feature, not a bug. I will happily take a big swig of that, and actually a really big, maybe too big swig of that, and pass it back to him. Can I roll to see if it hits me really hard or not?
Yeah, why don't you give me a vigor roll? See what happens.
All right, because there's something I want to do here.
Okay.
Yes.
While this roll is going on real quick, you said the names of the cross were Elizabeth and what?
Mary.
Mary. Okay, thank you.
The smaller one is Mary. The larger one was Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you.
And again, at any point, if you feel that you might have had any reason to have done any sort of research or asked around or whatever, we can play through as a flashback. There is possible information that you could glean if you wanted to, but if you don't think Peter was the kind of guy that's like, oh, how much for this house? Okay, that's great. I don't want to know anymore. No, shush. No more backstory. I don't need it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing. I'm totally agreeing.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
What'd you get?
I got that.
5.
You need to say it out loud.
I got 3 d8 on 5 wild die.
Okay, so just read the highest number. So the way Savage
5.
Worlds works is that you get to have both dice because you get to keep the highest. So you got a
Oh.
5. And a 5 is
Okay.
a success. So that, as far as I'm concerned, you tell me. If the 5 is not a failure. A failure to me would mean I tell you.
Okay. The booze strengthens me, much like Christ. And I pour forth to this detective and say, listen, there's maybe one other thing that I was wondering if you ever heard of it happening. And if maybe, I don't know, if it's weird. Have you ever heard of like maybe there was 2 girls and like maybe they were sisters and then one of them died and it was the other girl's fault, but it wasn't her fault because she didn't know. Would it ever be the kind of thing that you could maybe be forgiven for? And this isn't about me, of course. It's this girl Peter knows.
Asking for a friend. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Greg, that sounds like one hell of an extra paycheck coming your way.
You know, I don't know all the details, but I mean, if it was an unintentional act, I mean, I could see him being forgiven for it.
So you think that there's a such thing as absolute moral reality in a shifting and unchanging world?
Say yes. Say yes.
Oh, I wish I had your moral turpitude, sir. But thank you very much. And I pass it back to him. And
It's all good. So feel free to do some exploring if you'd like. And
Yeah,
tell me
well,
as you enter a new
yeah.
room what you see.
Okay.
I'm going to walk over to this piano and sit down. And as like a well-trained lady of a certain class, I know how to play a little bit. So I'm going to start playing just a little bit in the background.
Okay,
Well-
hold on. Where's the priest? Or not the priest, the private eye. Is
He's
that-
right
is that him?
next to you in the
Awesome.
foyer.
Okay, good. Awesome. Yeah, I need to have a chat with him too.
I go into the
So-
study.
We'll why don't we just let Rosemary play some
Hell yeah.
some hymns on the incredibly out of tune piano with some missing
Yeah.
notes.
So it's extra
Um,
creepy. Yeah.
It's extra creepy.
Yeah.
And the father has gone into the study, it looks like, while you two are standing in the foyer.
Yeah, Dr. Peter Schreck has gripped the elbow of the detective and pulled him back a little bit. Can we talk for a minute? We haven't had a lot of time to talk about this. And I think you and I need to have a talk.
Yeah, what you got on your mind?
Well, yeah, and he walks in front of the detective, so his back is to Rosemary, but he's listening. He looks over his shoulder. You're doing wonderful, hon. I love it. You see, I told you potential. And he looks back, and the smile goes away. And now he's just straight face. You are to do everything in your God-loving ability to make sure that my future wife knows that this house is absolutely clean. And you're to make certain that beloved priest does the exact same thing, because my new life starts, and it's going to start here with that house. It's going to start with that woman. I got everything dumped into this man. You got to help me. Can I count on you?
You brought me along to check it out and take care of any problems, right?
Hell yeah, I did. Hey, and you know what, man? And he's got his hand on your shoulder, and he's like gripping it, like he's trying to be a buddy, but it's just creepy as hell. Hey, and you do good here. I'll make it worth your while. I promise. Everyone's gonna know who you are after this.
I'm always looking for some more gigs, so just pass
All right.
the word.
Why don't you go ahead and go find the priest? I'm gonna go talk to my fiance for a minute.
Okay.
Hey, you're doing great.
Hey, thanks.
So I'm going to jump in for a second here and do some description of the rooms that you guys are heading into.
Sure.
So the drawing room, the furniture in here is shrouded in dusty white sheets, appearing in the dark like ghostly animals. A huge grand piano stands near the window. Its sheet piled on the floor nearby. Its keys are covered, and the bench is, well, not anymore, obviously. The bench was on its side on the floor. Sheet music is scattered across the floor. One song is perched on top of the piano. It says Claire de Lune.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's what I was going to say. It was playing.
It is so old that the paper is brittle and broken in places. There are moth-eaten curtains in front of the window here and sheer drapes. Wind moves them in your peripherals.
if we could, because honestly, I'm just thinking that, you know, Rosemary's playing, and
Yeah.
Dr. Peter Schreck is just encouraging her, you know, looking at the house, and in reality, it's just the dollar signs are racking up, and anxiety is starting to build because he's really starting to get, you know, a vibe for how much this is really going to cost him.
This room is occupied by a roll top desk and a cracked ancient high back chair. The long wall is lined with floor to ceiling bookshelves, groaning with the dusty old tomes. One wall is taken up by a stone fireplace that still contains the charred remains of long ago fires. And all of a sudden, you guys all hear this as though it's coming from all around you in the house. So now that we've heard these bells go off, I'd love for you all to just do me a favor and give me a roll, a spirit roll or a fear check if you want to click it.
I somehow rolled a 5.
There you go.
5.
I got myself a 7.
It looks like Miss Farrow got a 3 actually.
No, I got a 5 on my wild die for that.
Nope, that was Father Price.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm very sorry.
That's okay.
It's okay. Greg does the same thing.
Oh my God, Mr.
Like-
Perkins.
Oh,
Oh,
I ain't afraid of your bells.
he's like, yeah, where I come from, this is a normal Thursday, you know.
You're like
Miss
Sean
Farrow.
Constantine.
So for the viewers at home, Mr. Perkins just rolled a 10 on his wild die. However, Father got a 5, and Miss Farrow, you rolled a 3, which is a failure. Would you like to keep that, or would you like to spend a penny to re-roll your first fear check of the game? It's really up to you.
No, I think I deserve to be humbled a little bit in this moment. I'm entirely too modern for this game. I need to phase in.
Excellent. Would you do me a favor and roll me a d20, or would you like me to do that for you?
Could you do that for me, please?
I would be happy to.
Thank you.
So you're rolling a d20 on the fear table, and I'm using the new fear table from the Horror Companion by Pinnacle Entertainment. You rolled an 8, which means you are currently. It says the hero is vulnerable until the end of the next turn. What I would say is, it says out of combat you're fatigued, but instead I'm going to say no, you're vulnerable, but emotionally vulnerable in this moment because you're afraid, and you are by your fiance. What do you do?
I'm going to leap directly into his loving and I assume somewhat barrel-shaped arms.
of course.
Mhm.
As soon as she jumps up, because he was like the ding, and he like tensed up for a hot second, and he got that same faraway look he did for a few hot seconds, and then when she moved up, it snapped him out of it. He's like, no, it's good, I got you. It's good. We're gonna be good here. Just gotta see the future. Just look for it. Yeah.
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 So
Moving on.
meanwhile, in the study, after this alarm went off, after these bells rang, why don't you two give me a notice roll, just to see what you
You said for us in the study?
yeah, just for you two in the study.
Okay.
Tell
I
me.
did notice too that I get a +2 on fear checks because of my brave.
Oh, right. You can remember that for me.
And I rolled a 6.
Okay. That's a successful notice roll. And Mr. Perkins also rolled a 6, which is a successful notice roll. So the two of you hear that alarm, that clock go off. I keep saying alarm. You hear the bells ringing, and you definitely can feel like it came from all around you, but in particular, it seemed to be coming from this floor of the house. It didn't come from below or above. But you did notice something as well, since you're both looking. While the bells were ringing, and still to this moment, the fire in the room that was it looked like for a moment while the bells were ringing that the fire had come to life, as though somebody who was in the middle of a fire, like having a warming their house in the cold autumn months. But when you look to see, you notice that the fire was not in fact ignited, but you do catch the glimpse of something interesting in the embers, in the coals that remain in the fireplace.
Okay.
An interesting shape or two that it catches you.
Go get it. Go get it. Somebody should reach right in there and take that stuff.
Oh yeah.
I,
I've got the old curious hindrance.
Boom! Best
Yep.
hindrance ever.
Best, well, for GMs.
Damn right.
and loyal.
Oh yeah. Once I notice
Yeah.
that, I'm gonna walk over towards it and start, looking around.
Yeah, so you walk over. Do you just put your hands right in there? You use them like, how are you investigating? How are you investigating with your investigator edge?
I'm probably gonna look beside there and see if there's like a poker or anything.
Yeah,
or-
there's
or-
definitely a poker. There's a couple there. There was a stand that has fallen over, and on the ground beside it is a very old brass and iron poker, brass handle.
Yeah.
So you pick it up.
I
and start
grab
pushing.
the old poker and I just start kind of poking.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, in the fire pit, something strange occurs to you, that there's definitely coals from wood, but there's also bones, small bones like from an animal, and a skull or two from like a cat or a squirrel, and a larger one from like possibly canine. As you dig deeper through the coals, you notice these things.
Okay. I'm gonna probably call the preacher over and just have him make sure I'm not seeing things.
Yeah, you noticed this as well when you were looking around the room, but
yeah, I feel like we would both be like literally notice it at the same time and think the same thoughts and walk over together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect shield.
Detective. I certainly pray that's not human.
They look like they're animals, but it still ain't a good sign.
Well, you're right. And meanwhile, my brain is running like 5 different directions as to why and how and who and but before that I was thinking, and my thoughts were tangled up with the curiosity of the 2 graves and the doctor, his ulterior motives, and why I have to be involved, but yet, I'm the pacifist, so of course I'll roll with it. And
Well, why are you here?
Preacher, I mean, Father, I kind of got the same feeling from the doctor, but he's paying me a lot of money, so. But also, there's got to be a reason why he got the house so cheap.
Oh, that is true. And, my heart reaches out to Miss Farrow and certainly hoping that, she's making the right decisions. She is near and dear to me. And, really I'm here to, look over her and protect her and hopefully guide these 2 as they start their life together.
Well, let's just work on figuring out this house first.
Yes, it is a
I'm going to
train.
go over here and look at this desk that's sitting over in the corner.
Oh, phenomenal. And I will look over at a bookshelf and see if there's anything curiously related to the 2 graves.
Excellent. So I'm going to let you two sort of look around. Really, what you find as you poke through stuff is a lot of old, rotten books and papers. The roll top desk, as you lift it up, it creaks and gets stuck, and you kind of just bust it up, and you look at it, and inside you can find like an old brass letter opener and different things. But one thing that catches your eye in particular is inside, sitting right on the desk itself, is what looks like an older pistol from the mid 1800s, sitting just sort of sitting on a shelf. Meanwhile, back in the drawing room, so what do you guys can hear the piano again from where you are, but it sounds different than it did before. More creepy.
It's not me. I'm not the one playing that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give you my spirit check. That would have made him jump.
Yeah.
Well, suddenly the piano's lid slams down. Now you can give me your roll, Mr. Jumpy.
Dr. Peter Shrek.
Sorry, Dr. Peter Jumpy.
Who has just greased his pants.
As well as the priest, I rolled a 3.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I got my failure.
There
Okay.
you go. You rolled a 4 though, Mr. Shrek. Is there a minus to that, or?
I thought with his hindrance.
No, his hindrance makes you roll a fear check when any sort of loud noise happens. So, like, if you're in a gunfight, you're like, no. But if you want to call that a failure, I'll let you.
No, I think the priest has got this one nailed. No, but I mean, it rattled him significantly more than it rattled his fiance. Like she's recovering from this much faster than Dr. Peter Shrek.
Yes. Well, it looks like we have 2 failures coming from the other room.
Actually, I've got a +2 for my brave.
Oh yeah, you didn't fail. You got a 5.
I got a 5.
Father, do you want to keep that failure on the piano slam? And did you hear did you hear the shout? Do I need to say it?
It sounded like Charles.
Charles? It said Charles?
Yeah, it sounded like Charles.
I couldn't tell
right?
what it said.
That's what it said.
Okay, yeah.
Sure it was clear.
Nice.
No, I have absolutely no problem keeping it failed because I know exactly how this is going to go.
Heck
So
yeah.
then why don't
Do you?
Give me a D20 roll if you don't mind.
Not a problem.
James, before we go any further, you have backup characters, right?
I'm not going to die.
You rolled a 4? Yes. So yeah. So it says you're distracted. So out of combat, I'm just going to say, instead of gaining a level of fatigue, which is a lot, I'm actually going to say that you suddenly fear for Rosemary's well-being.
Absolutely.
So what do you do?
Actually, you know what's really funny? I will tip my hat to the GM because that's exactly where I was going to go. My concern was not knowing where she was and what are, the paranormal is literally the work of the dark one. And so, if it's not, a work of a miracle, it's born of Satan, And so at this point, I'm thinking to myself, there is a dark one in this house. And the very first victim that I would imagine, because I've got, holy connections, as it were, the very first one I think that it would go for would be, the young female. And so I start walking very quickly to find her.
Good. Good.
Right. Yeah. Because the high-pitched scream coming from the other room.
Yeah. And then her saying, that's not me playing. I'm not the one playing.
And that's not her. That's not her screaming either.
You would know that voice. In fact, actually, one thing I'd like for you to do when you hear the name Charles and you saw the graves out back that said Rosemary, or no, it didn't say Rosemary.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth and Mary.
And Mary.
I would like to ask, Father, would you do me a favor and just roll a research roll? This is for something that you maybe looked up when Rosemary called you and said that she wanted you to come to this house.
Ooh.
And how did you do?
I rolled a 1 on both of them.
Oh,
Father,
that's not good.
Father,
it's not.
remember, I get a +2 bonus to my research rolls because of my many years as a student. Something you would know about me endemically as someone who's such a close part of my life.
That's true, and you did do a very good roll for county records and such, which is where you got your information. Father, as a crit fail on a flashback research roll, I would say that you did look through some church records to see if you could find anything about this property, and as a matter of fact, as you were requesting these records, the church diocese, I don't know, the person who,
you're all over it.
They basically forbade you to look into this, and they said that this is past your station, mind your place.
Laugh it up.
And as a result, you're kind of on probation. For some reason, you're a little bit concerned about why the church doesn't want you looking into this.
Yeah, and with a advance in command and natural leadership, it knocks me down like a mental rung.
Yeah,
it's a heavy hit.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate, but that's what happens. So as you run in to find Rosemary, and Mr. Perkins, do you follow as well, or do you continue to look around?
Yeah, I'm gonna just go up to here so that I can see into the room.
Yeah. So you guys
observe and see what's going
on. And as you all enter the room, again, the description of the room has been read. Hopefully, you all recall. You look around and you see that the key lid, whatever it's called, there's a name for it, slams down. Had slammed down and is now closed. And the two of these two are kind of holding each other in an embrace of terror and fear. So what are you guys gonna do?
Did you all hear that?
I come darting in. Oh my goodness, I'm so thankful that you all are, at least that you look okay.
Charles, that's right. That's where I know that name. And I'm gonna run. Actually, we only just parked the car outside. We're only just been in the house, right? I'm gonna run out to the car where I assume like my bag is, and get the papers that I'm talking about and bring them in to the house and get like a candle and stuff so I can show them to everybody so that we can all see it at the same time.
And as she's running out, Dr. Peter Shrek has composed himself as best he can, and he's going with her, and he's actually trying to gaslight her the whole time. He's all like, no, hey, look, I know we gotta jump, we gotta scale. Look, it's the broken windows. Look, I get it, but it's gonna be better. You ain't gotta worry about this. But the whole time, it's like, no, look, it was the wind, it was the old piano. Yeah, it's just the wind. Look, we're reading into things. We're all a little jumpy. It's dark out. I get it. Hey, but I'm here. It was the wind, wasn't it, boys?
I would imagine, absolutely. Yes. I could see how that what with all these windows being broken out.
But hey, you know what, Rosemary? Why don't you tell us what you know?
Listen.
So you run out to the car. I need to explain something. As you run out to the car, the wind does pick up a little, and you hear this loud sort of clang as the gate slams shut around the house. The car is inside the gate though, so you're able to grab what you want. But as you notice, you just see the rusty old wrought iron gate has just slammed shut.
Okay.
And what did you roll?
I have the hindrance of overly cautious.
You are. Yep. I appreciate that.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
I think, all right, fine. Listen, I'm going to get those papers. And if there's anyone named Charles in them, I'm going to keep looking into this. But if not, then I'll let it go. Okay?
Hey, you know what? Not a problem. I get it.
Right.
I get it. This is your house too. I want you to feel invested in this.
Thank
Feel safe
you.
here.
Thank you.
That's right. And me and the boys are going to make sure you're safe and invested, aren't we?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You're a horrible.
Hey, being a private investigator, where I probably would have done some research and stuff too before we came, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I would say so. Why don't you give me that research role? And since you are an investigator, I think you get a +2 to that, which is probably
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'll bring the stuff in and put it on the table and like bring
on
some
the
candles around.
piano, or
Yeah, well, it's slammed shut. Why not? That's a good.
There's a
concept.
7 with a +2, so I got a 9.
I like that.
Yep. Yeah, there it is. So a 9 is a success with a raise. So when you were digging into the house, you had gotten a phone call from Dr. Schreck, and he had asked you to come and assist in the investigation, and as a good detective, you did your back research, and the understanding what you found from like birth and death records and whatnot. Yes, Charles and Elizabeth moved into the house in 1862. She became pregnant shortly after. She had a daughter. A birth certificate was found under the name of Mary, born in 1863 in September, and a death record was found under the name of Mary for October of 1863.
Okay, wait. When was she born again?
She was born in September of 1863.
Oh. And then she died in October?
Of 1863.
Yeah, at that time, that would have been kind of almost normal.
2 months.
Yeah, but you said weren't they 2 different names on the birth and the death? One Elizabeth and one was Mary?
Nope, both were Mary. Mary was born in September and died in October. In fact, the dates show that she only lived a few short weeks.
Okay.
Another thing you would have found on your raise, there was some medical records of a doctor coming to visit the house after the death of Mary to see to Elizabeth, and that Elizabeth was suffering from some depression, whatever they would have called it back in the 1860s.
Hysteria.
So Elizabeth was the mother and Mary was the daughter. Or
the parents were Charles and Elizabeth, and the child and the child was Mary. So you guys lay this out on the table, and this is and as you're looking, you notice actually on the mantle in this room there's what looks like some old photographs, like old brass frames, 3 of them across the mantle.
Are the pictures recognizable?
They're covered in dust. You can see from here. It's hard to make out what the pictures are of, but the frames are still standing, and it looks like they're completely covered in dust.
All right, I'll go over and look at them and see what we can see.
So you pick up the first picture. If anyone else is watching as well, you pick up the first picture, and so you see this picture of this young happy couple, and it looks like, actually, you notice the funny thing about this is this looks like the room you're in. This is the fireplace that those pictures are on. And the next picture you pick up and dust off is this one here.
Oh, that's great.
If you could blow it up a little there, Greg, and if anybody wants to, I would love to see if anyone could give me a roll for your medical, like health, or just a notice at a -2 if it's easier for you. So if you have healing, roll healing. If you have
I rolled a 10, so added a -2, that would be an 8.
That's an 8. Yeah.
I rolled a 4.
A 4, which is a success on healing. And Dr. Schreck, who is an expert healer, got a success on healing as well, which is fantastic. Mr. Perkins, no, that was his research roll. Did you want to roll as well, or are you just dusting off the pictures and looking at the next one? I'll get to
I'm
the
just gonna
answer.
keep looking at the pictures.
Okay, so the two of you who got a success, you guys can see that this this is a picture of a young mother and what looks like a newborn baby. However, Father Price, you looked very closely at this picture, and you also know a little bit about the kind of the history of the era. Oftentimes, when people lost a loved one, they would take pictures of them and pose them.
Oh yeah.
After they were dead, and you just by looking at this picture, it just dawns on you that this is a photograph. Just the look on Elizabeth's face and the way she's holding this baby isn't even as natural as it should be. This is a post-mortem photograph,
Right.
and it kind of gives you a bit of a chill that you're looking at a picture of a woman and a dead child.
Yeah, it messes with me, and at a certain point where I understand it, I recognize it, but it's, I think at these current times, would that even be possible or feasible for a mother to do that? That would just be unheard of.
No,
if not almost sociologically, horrifying.
Yeah, and back then it was almost commonplace, but still, to think about whose choice it was to take the picture.
Exactly.
They had to bring a photographer kind of into the house and have her pose with this in her time of grief. In fact, you get that feeling again that you got in the lobby, the foyer of the house, that same feeling, and you suddenly look at this woman with the child and think of all of the times you've had to speak over the graves of children and the feelings that the mothers of those children had. And Mr. Perkins, now, do you mention this actually, Father? Do you mention this to anybody, or do you keep that information?
I keep it to myself because I don't know. I assume, that it may not be known, and the last thing I want to do is actually disturb specifically Rosemary even more, because I know as a lady that would really bother, and the guys wouldn't give a hoot, but I look at it as keeping a secret safe in order to keep peace or maybe build peace in the room.
Yeah, and if we were spending more bennies, I'd give you a benny for that.
I appreciate it.
But we're not. So we'll get to that later. I'm gonna show the third photo now, Greg. This is the third photo you find, and it's the same couple. The art generator I used to make this doesn't know that it's the same couple, but I know it is, and I'm telling you it is.
Actually, it does look like the same woman.
Yeah,
Very close. Very close.
but this is a little boy.
Who is he and where is he? I think to myself, and I actually say it at the same time without really recognizing it, who is the boy? And it seems like is that the only record of that boy existing that we visibly see? Because everything else points to obviously Charles, but the two women, or the baby and I assume the mother.
Yeah, that's the first. This is the first time you've had any sort of indication of this. I will give you one more chance. You did have a crit failed research roll, but just because I like you, I'm going to give you another chance to roll your research.
Best. I'm not going to. Let's see.
Don't say
I
it.
wouldn't say it. Don't say it.
Tied for the best.
Yes.
You're tied for the best.
Don't do
So-
it. Don't do that. It's not the song.
It actually, you look at this photo and you have this thought that one of the documents that you had not really had a chance to look at because they were sort of withheld from you, but you did come across some reference to an adoption.
Yes, because I rolled a 5, and that would explain that.
And in 1864. I did actually write 1964 this time. In 1864, there was an adoption record, but you didn't get a chance to look at it. You just know it is somehow connected to the Huntley family.
Right. Okay.
And at that moment, suddenly you kind of catch from behind you, standing in the window. You hear this sound.
Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. You're dead. You're dead. Leave me alone.
And you see, yep. and you see something at the same time. If you could cast again for me, Greg.
Yep, that would be something running down my leg.
Yep. And for just a moment, you see a silhouette of a man. Remember I mentioned there was thick, heavy curtains in this room, and then there were sheer curtains that blew in the wind. You see this man behind the sheer curtain, and the wind blows the curtain, and just with the movement of the sheer fabric, the man is gone. So if you could close that, Greg, just for the sake of dramatic sake. Did we get a spirit? Yeah, I'm going to ask for a fear check at -2 from everybody as you see the first actual.
Yeah,
spirit.
he actually looks like Boris Karloff.
You think?
On occasion.
I like it. I like it.
There we go. So I rolled a 9.
Okay,
Somehow.
so that's with the minus. Yeah, you rolled a 9 with the -2. Who else? What else did we get on there?
Roll.
And Mr. Perkins, you get your +2 and your -2, so you get an even straight roll there.
Good boy.
Yeah.
Well done.
So that would be a 3.
You rolled a 3. Do you? And at this point, if anybody wants to spend a penny, we are close to the end of the evening. To re-roll, you're welcome to. And Dr. Shrek, did you roll as well?
Yes, I rolled and I got a 5. That would drop it down to a 3. I'm going to take that, Phil. I'm going to roll this.
You're going to roll with that one? Okay.
Hell yes.
Oh, and we have our first spent Benny on the table, and it's an antique key. There we go. Your Benny's the back card back was the lock itself.
Ooh,
yeah,
nicely done.
I thought so. Anyway,
there we go. There we go. You got 10s, 8s, nice.
Oh, Miss Farrow, you rolled a 6 with the -2, correct?
No, wait, hold on. Did you roll?
Oh, she rolled twice.
Yeah, it's somehow rolled.
Sorry.
Oh, it's all right.
We'll keep the first one.
No, spend one of my bennies because I really like the second one.
Okay, it does make no difference, but feel free to toss one of your bennies on the table.
Yep, do it.
Hell no, take that raise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a raise. And
She's played with Chuck E. T. before.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, but
so Mr. Perkins, you also keep your cool. Now you're all still frightened, and you did hear this sound. Now, what did you hear? Just so I gather what you all heard.
Please leave me alone. You're dead. Leave me alone, please.
But did you hear anything else? Was there anything else that you noticed in that?
Inchoate cackling.
The people laughing at him.
In fact, the voice of a child's laughter.
Oh.
Yeah. You see that face?
don't make fun of you.
See that face right there?
That's the face.
Exactly what.
What is it? What does it look like? Say on a scale
Peter
from 1 to 20.
Oh, it's a 30.
No. On a scale from 1 to 20, where 1 is a low number and 20 is a high number, in a random sort of way, what would it look like?
Give me 1 second. I'll tell you. I got a 14, so that'd be 16.
A +2, a 16. So you are panicked. The hero must immediately move their full pace.
Hell
and
yes.
Away from the threat. That's in combat. If you want to keep that, I kind of like that because I don't.
Yes.
Out of contact, you gain a minor psychosis, but I'm not ready for that one. I think you quite literally vacate both the premises and possibly your bowels.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely happening. Like everybody freaked out Everybody panicked, made their noises. No, Dr. Peter Schreck
Pushed his wife,
squealed,
his fiance.
yes, in front of him towards the apparition, backed up, eyes are huge, let out this ear-piercing squeal like a small child, turned and has absolutely ran with no grace whatsoever out of this room, through the foyer, hit the steps, stumbled down the steps,
Yeah,
and is
actually give me an athletics roll. Just give me an athletics roll for me. It is dark, and these are crooked, warped stairs.
Oh, if I fail, what happens?
You're gonna trip and fall.
How much damage are we talking?
Very little. Why would you roll?
Oh, yeah, no, trip, fall, no, there's no grace. Right down
No.
the steps, rolls, skins, tears up his shirt and his pants, and he the adrenaline's just going, and he's doing this crazy army crawl through the mud towards the car, and it's just incoherent babbling. But what's really going through his head is he's reliving his last moments with his ex-wife.
Right.
Like, that's what he's seeing right now. Everywhere he looks is
So
he sees her turn the bright lights, and he's just crawling towards the car. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. And that's all he's muttering and babbling the whole time as he's going towards the car.
So in the movie that we're watching, why don't you do me a favor? And as you crawl, you look over in the bushes and you see your wife. Tell us what you see. Tell us exactly how the audience sees it in the movie.
Oh, at first she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, if anything, she has this really creepy similarity to Rosemary.
Yeah.
It's like unhealthy, bizarre similarity to Rosemary. And at first, she's hunkered down and she's crawling with him as he's going to the car. And he looks over, his eyes are huge, his mouth is working, and he's just saying again, it's not my fault, it's not my fault, it's not my fault. And he's going on, he looks back again, she's mangled. She's absolutely mangled. And that now picks the doctor up to his feet. He screams some more, and he's trying to get into the car.
Oh,
yes.
He opens the passenger door to the car to get into the car. And as he opens the passenger door, he looks over his shoulder back at the house, and two bright lights come fast and as though they're going to collide with him. And you suddenly see what the last thing your wife saw as she was standing outside the passenger door of your car.
He's lying on his back and he's hyperventilating. Because right before the lights hit him, the last thing that he hears is his wife saying, "Goodbye, Peter."
Thank you so much for playing, guys. I had a lot of fun. I hope
I had a good time for you. This was fantastic.
In the meantime, between now and 2 weeks from now, when we play again, Chuck, maybe you and I could figure out how to get these audio and video clips to actually work for us in a way that's a little better than this. Like, you're paying for this Google Meet. We might as well figure out the best way to use it. Exactly. There must be a way.
It has to be a way. Well, great. Well, great. Then in that case, excellent. Miss Rainey, thank you so much for putting up with us today. You are a very, very nice addition, and I would love to have you back at the table whenever you would like. So yeah, as is tradition here at Savage Sessions, we have our parting thoughts. So James, do you have any parting words?
Yeah. I happy Halloween.
Fantastic. Miss Rainey, do you have any parting thoughts?
Thank you for having me, boys. But just remember that the real spooky season is in your heart.
Oh,
I know.
I like her, James. She didn't say it's friendship. Like some other people that like to go on their podcasts and say. I'm going to edit that out.
No, I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's now canon, yeah. Or
look up Gaming with Gage. I'm going to edit that part out too. So anyway,
check out Gaming with Gage. You should check out Gaming with Gage.
Yes, I'm going to keep that in. So, Greg, do you have any parting words?
Good time as always, and looking forward to the next season. Session. Yeah.
Jay's looking forward to it all.
I'm dying. Everett, we come to you. Do you have any parting words?
Okay, first of all, Miss Rainey, my hat's off to you. It has been an absolute honor, pleasure, and I've found myself, and I don't know how possible, but never more entertained. And I thank you so much for being here. And it would grace our table if you would join us on a far more regular basis. I greatly appreciate your presence. James, if you arranged it, you are an amazing individual. Thank you so much for, once again, I feel like I'm a broken record. Best session ever. The brains and the creativity and the world that these people manipulate and build. I am the fortunate one that I get to be here and play along, and I've never been happier in my entire life to do something with so many great people. And I thank you all for the greatest. Honestly, Miss Rainey, just meeting you, but welcome to Radio Salad Studios. That's all I got. Thank you again for a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thank you.
And as always, until we see each other again, go out there, be safe, have fun, and may the dice be with you always.